So do you think that how can we, make some changes in this love relationship in a way that the heart is not broken, or let's say the pancreas are not broken?
Yeah, Shikha rightly said, sugar may be the love language, but the like heart in terms of sugar is the pancreas. So your pancreas should not always feel that romance. When the sugar level rises, then within the body, almost every organ is getting impacted. It is getting affected. And God has made our bodies in such a way that nobody will become diabetic overnight. So Dr. Mithal was also talking about diabetes. So person first is healthy, then he starts gaining weight, becomes obese with poor lifestyle, not a mindful eating, not adequate sleep, stress, and then the person becomes into a stage of borderline sugar, which we call a pre-diabetes. And then if we do not control those sugars, the person becomes diabetic. So through interventions, by making the lifestyle better, we can reverse the pre-diabetes state. But once the person gradually inches toward diabetes, then the person may have to gulp medicines, and then obviously the disease at a advanced stage, and it may also impact various organs.
Right.
So it is very important for every one of us that diabetes runs in families also, and therefore those who have a positive family history should get their annual health check done, at least their fasting blood sugars and A1C level checked. And in case a person has diabetes, that is not the end of the world. It can be managed very well through appropriate medication, through diet, through lifestyle modification, etc., etc. And the person can have a very, very healthy life despite being so called as diabetic. So I understand that while India is a diabetes capital and now we call it diabetes plus heart disease, they go hand in hand. The person with diabetes has a very, very high risk of developing heart disease in future. But you will live in your body, and that is your only permanent office, and therefore we have to maintain that office very well. So maintaining your sugar
means you say you live in office.
Yeah, we live. So this is an office. When I talk about the corporate world, our bodies are permanent office. So in case you talk about diabetes, you control it so that you live in that office very well. And more than how to control the diabetes with medication, so Dr. Mithal can throw more light on it.
No, I think you've done a great job, but the importance of sugar craving.
Yes.
The importance of the two aspects to your question, which I will add to what Amit said. One is that sugar cravings are a function of the brain. And the only way to avoid sugar cravings is, again, but in childhood, to not encourage sweets as a reward.
Right.
Sweets are associated with good things. Always have been associated with good things. Sweetheart, honey, they're all terms of endearment.
Yeah.
Right? So everything good is thought to be sweet. And everything bitter is kadwahat. It's not nice. So sour. Relationship turned sour.
Correct.
So you have to understand that sweets are ingrained in all our cultures, in our minds, in our brains. So one thing is we have to develop good eating habits and not use sweets as rewards for things for children. That's the earlier part. But later on, it's very hard to get rid of sugar cravings. Very hard. So you have to start in steps and go very slowly, replace your dessert with fruit, one by one. But it is a challenge. And which is where newer drugs have made a huge impact. Newer anti-diabetic drugs, which are also used as anti-obesity drugs, have made a big impact because they curve the sugar cravings in our brain. Mm-hmm. So that's a whole area of work. The other part which you mentioned also, which I will add, is the family environment. Now, it's not unusual for someone to be diagnosed diabetic, and maybe the gentleman is 50 years old and he has children, and everyone descends upon him in the clinic. He doesn't listen, he does this, he does that, he does... Right. And why don't you tell him, you're too gentle, you don't scold him, you don't do this, all kinds of things. Whereas everyone is grossly overweight around him, just waiting to develop diabetes. They haven't done it yet. So when we talk of chronic disease and lifestyle, like obesity and diabetes, and they both go together, as we know, it has to be not just the individual. Yes, individual, but it has to be family. It has to be society. Ultimately, it has to even be authorities to make sure that healthy food is accessible.
Right.
But at a more personal level in families, during Diwali or Christmas or whatever, if the table is full of sweets, then you cannot expect the person with obesity or diabetes to avoid them.
Right.
If they should not come into the house, and everyone should be following that diet.
Absolutely.
And that is the challenge, where people say, why will my children not enjoy sweets? Doc, why should they not have sweets? They don't have diabetes. So that is the way we look at it.
So
But
shifting a person's health, like rewarding yourself rather than with sweets, shifting to reward yourself with good health, will
Yes.
let you enjoy sweetness as
Yes.
well as will keep the diabetes away from that bitter aftertaste.
Absolutely.
And plus, I think one of my takeaways could be slightly philosophical, but managing health is never individual. It's a wholesome family effort.
Yes.
And when a family comes together to manage health, whether be it of one individual or the entire family, it always works.
Absolutely, and I think this is important because what happens in India, and I'm not going into women's health today, that after the age of 30, the prevalence of obesity is higher in women than in men.
True
And
that.
that's because
Yes.
women are at home, and they're,
Correct.
I mean, not all, but many women are at home, and they're sort of eating whatever is there in the day, and sometimes they're bored and they eat, sometimes they just eat whatever the kids have left over. I mean, that's another thing.
Also postpartum.
Yes,
weight.
yes.
So
That's
a
true.
lot of things, and the postpartum.
Yes.
And during pregnancy and postpartum, we definitely overfeed our women.
Yes.
No question about that. So all those factors
Couldn't agree
come to
more.
play. But that's a separate topic, yeah.
So moving from diabetes onto another growing menace in today's world, Dr. Gautam, brain stroke in men have been there, existent, for decades galore, but are seeing an increasing trend. So would you like to throw some light on what could be the symptoms that one should look out for, and not just term it under the bucket of अच्छा ये stress है इसकी वजह से हो रहा है. So could you just call out some of those symptoms?